Okay, so picture this. You just landed at the airport, you're exhausted, you have three heavy bags, and the immigration officer looks at you and says something so fast, so completely fast, that your brain just stops. And you smile. Because what else can you do? You smile and you nod and you genuinely hope, that you just agreed to something reasonable. Welcome to Speak with Vivi. I'm Vivi, and what I just described, that was me at JFK Airport on my very first trip to the United States, smiling and nodding at an immigration officer while having absolutely no idea what he said to me. Today we are talking about something that I think every single person listening to this has either experienced or is terrified of experiencing. Surviving in English when you travel or study abroad, the real English, the fast English, the unexpected English that nobody prepares you for. And I have the perfect person to help me with this today. He is American, which means he has watched many confused tourists try to survive in his country. And he has somehow remained a very patient and very kind human being. Robert, welcome back.
Ha! I love how you introduced me. He has watched confused tourists. I feel like that's not entirely flattering.
No, it's a compliment. You could have been mean about it and you weren't. That's very special.
Fair enough. Hey everyone, I'm Robert, and I have to say, Vivi's airport story? I want to hear the full version of that today.
Oh, you will. It gets worse before it gets better.
Of course it does. I'm already looking forward to it.
But first, I want to ask everyone listening something. Have you ever dreamed of travelling to an English-speaking country? Maybe the United States, England, Canada, Australia. Or maybe you're planning to do an exchange programme, study abroad, work internationally, and in your head the trip is perfect. You're speaking English confidently, you're understanding everyone, you're having these amazing conversations with locals.
And then reality hits.
And then reality hits. The accents are different. People talk so fast. There are words and expressions you've never heard in any class. And suddenly all those years of studying English feel very far away.
This is such a universal experience. I've worked with so many international students and travelers, and almost every single one of them says the same thing. My classroom English and my real-world English felt like two completely different languages.
Two completely different languages. Yes, that's exactly it. And today, we are going to bridge that gap. We're going to talk about the English you actually need at the airport, at the hotel, at restaurants, in class, on the street, and how to not just survive, but actually feel good in those situations.
And we're going to be very practical today. Lots of real phrases, real situations, real strategies.
Which I needed desperately on that trip. Okay, Robert, can I tell the airport story now?
Please, I've been waiting.
Okay. So, my first trip to the United States, I had studied English for years. I felt fairly confident. I get to immigration at JFK, and the officer, who was a very serious man, not unfriendly, just very serious, looks at my passport and asks me something.
What did he ask?
That is the thing. I don't know. I genuinely do not know what he asked me. I caught maybe 3 words. Reason. Stay. And I think long. So my brain assembled these 3 words into reason for your stay, how long, which I think was correct.
That does sound right.
But I wasn't sure. So I said, very confidently, I am here for tourism and I will stay for 2 weeks, which was the right answer. But then he said something else, and this time I caught 0 words. 0.
What did you do?
I said, I'm sorry, which is the British way to ask for repetition, and I immediately thought, I'm in America. Should I have said, excuse me? Is this a problem? Am I being deported for saying, I'm sorry instead of excuse me?
Ha! You were not being deported for that.
I know that now, but in the moment. So he repeated, slower, and this time I understood he was asking if I had anything to declare at customs. And I said no. And he stamped my passport and said, enjoy your stay. And I walked away on shaking legs, feeling like I had survived something enormous.
But you had communicated successfully. Even with the panic, even with missing some words, the conversation worked.
It did work, but it didn't feel that way in the moment. It felt like I had barely survived an interrogation.
And that feeling, that barely surviving feeling, is what we want to help people avoid today, or at least reduce.
Exactly. So let's start at the beginning, the airport. Because I think the airport is where most people's confidence either gets built or gets destroyed on a trip.
It really is. And the airport has several distinct situations that each have their own language. Check-in, security, boarding, immigration, customs, baggage claim, each one is a little different.
Let's go through them. Starting with check-in, what are the most important phrases someone needs at check-in?
Okay, so at check-in, you're talking to a gate agent. The conversation is usually pretty predictable, which is actually great news. Predictable conversations are easier to prepare for.
What will they typically say to you?
The agent will usually start with something like, "Hi, where are you flying to today?" Or, "Can I see your passport and booking confirmation?" So the first thing you need ready is your destination and your documents.
Simple enough.
Then they'll ask about bags. "Are you checking any luggage today?" And if you are, they might say, "Please place your bag on the scale." Then they might ask, and this is the one that confuses people, "Did you pack your own bags?"
Oh, I remember being confused by this question. It sounds like such a strange thing to ask.
It does sound strange, but it's a security question. They want to confirm that you packed your own bag and nobody else put anything in it without your knowledge.
So the right answer is always yes.
If you did pack your own bag, yes. And then they might ask, "Has your bag been with you at all times?" Same security protocol.
What about if your bag is overweight? Because I have had this problem.
Ha! This is a very common situation. If your bag is over the weight limit, usually 23 kilos for economy, the agent will say something like, "I'm sorry, your bag is overweight. There will be an additional fee of X dollars."
And what do you say?
You have a few options. You can say, "Okay, I'll pay the fee." Or if you want to avoid the fee, you can say, "Can I rearrange my bags?" Or, "Can I move some items to my carry-on?"
Rearrange my bags. I need this phrase. I have absolutely paid overweight fees because I didn't know what to say.
It's one of those phrases that sounds so simple, but nobody teaches you. "Can I rearrange my bags?" Saves you $50 sometimes.
Okay, what about security? Because I find security in American airports very stressful.
Security can feel intense, especially if it's your first time with TSA. That's the Transportation Security Administration, the security agency in U.S. airports. But the instructions are usually given out loud and repeated, so you have multiple chances to understand.
What will they say?
They'll say things like, "Please remove your shoes and place them in a bin." "Laptops must be removed from bags." "Please remove all liquids from your bag." "Walk through the scanner." If the alarm goes off, they might say, "Step to the side, please." Or, "We need to do an additional screening."
Additional screening. That sounds terrifying.
It's not as scary as it sounds. They might use a wand, a handheld scanner, and they'll explain what they're doing. You can always say, "I don't understand. Can you explain?" And they will.
Can you always say that? Like, are security officers patient with people who don't speak English perfectly?
In my experience, yes, most of the time. Especially in big international airports, they're used to working with international travelers. The key phrase is, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you please repeat that slowly?" Most agents will slow down and simplify.
Okay, let's move to the situation I was in, immigration, which I think is the most stressful for most people.
Immigration can feel intimidating because it's official and formal. But again, the questions are very predictable. Let me walk you through the most common ones.
Perfect.
Question 1. What is the purpose of your visit? Your answer: tourism, business, studying, visiting family or friends.
Simple and direct.
Question 2. How long will you be staying? Answer: 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months. Always have your specific answer ready.
Question 3.
Where will you be staying? They want an address or at least a hotel name. Say, "I'll be staying at hotel name in city." Or, "I'll be staying with a friend at city."
What if you have multiple places you're staying?
Just give the first one. "I'll be staying in New York for the first week and then traveling to Los Angeles." That's completely fine.
Question 4.
Do you have a return ticket? Answer, yes, I'm returning on date. If you have it on your phone, you can offer to show them. I can show you my return ticket if you'd like.
And the customs question you mentioned. Do you have anything to declare?
Right. Do you have anything to declare? Means are you bringing in items that might be taxable or restricted? Large amounts of cash, certain food items, commercial goods. For most tourists, the answer is simply no, just personal belongings.
Personal belongings. That's a useful phrase.
It is. And one more important thing for immigration. If you don't understand a question, it is completely okay to say, I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Or, could you speak more slowly, please? Immigration officers ask the same questions hundreds of times a day. They will repeat it.
V. Okay, let's move beyond the airport, because surviving the airport is just the beginning. What about the hotel?
Our hotels are actually one of the easier situations because the staff is trained to be helpful and patient with international guests. But there are some useful phrases to know.
V. What are the most important ones?
Arka for check-in. I have a reservation under your name. I'd like to check in, please. They'll ask for your ID and credit card. They might say, would you like a room with a king bed or 2 doubles? That means 1 big bed or 2 smaller beds.
V. King bed versus 2 doubles. I learned this the hard way. I asked for a room for 1 person, and they gave me a room with 2 small beds, and I thought I had done something wrong.
No, 2 doubles just means 2 twin or full beds. It's very common in American hotels. A king room has 1 large bed. If you want to change, you can say, could I have a king room instead?
V. Other useful hotel phrases?
R. What time is checkout? This is essential. Usually it's 11 a.m. or noon. Is breakfast included? Is there Wi-Fi in the room? And the follow-up. What is the Wi-Fi password?
V. The Wi-Fi password question. Most important question of any hotel check-in.
R. Without question. You can also say, could I have a wake-up call at time? Or, can you call me a taxi? Or, what time does the pool open?
V. What about if something is wrong with the room?
Great question. If there's a problem, you call the front desk and say, hi, I'm in room number, and I have a problem. Then describe it. The air conditioning isn't working. The shower is cold. The TV isn't working. I need more towels. They will send someone up.
V. I need more towels. I have said this many times, never with enough confidence though.
Or, after today, you will say it with full confidence.
V. Okay, let's talk about restaurants, because eating in English is its own adventure.
RE. Restaurants in English-speaking countries have their own whole culture and vocabulary. Let me walk you through a typical experience.
Yes, please.
When you walk in, the host or hostess, the person at the entrance, will say, hi, how many in your party? Party means group, so if it's just you, you say just one. If it's 2 people, 2 please. Then they'll say, right this way, and seat you.
V. And then
Your server will come and say something like, hi, my name is Name, and I'll be taking care of you today. Can I start you off with something to drink?
V. Start you off. I love this expression. It took me a while to understand what it meant.
It means, what do you want to begin with before your main order? So you can say, I'll have water please. Or, can I see the drink menu? Or, I'll have a coffee.
Then they'll come back for the food order.
Right. They'll say, are you ready to order? Or, can I take your order? And this is where people sometimes get stressed because they feel rushed.
Yes, I always feel like I haven't decided yet, and they come back and I panic.
You are allowed to say, could you give me a few more minutes, please? That is completely normal and expected. Nobody will be offended.
A few more minutes. Okay, what if you don't understand something on the menu?
Just ask. Could you tell me what dish is? Or, what do you recommend? Servers love being asked for recommendations. Or, does this have ingredient? If you have any dietary restrictions or allergies.
What about allergies? That feels important.
Very important. I'm allergic to ingredient. Or, I can't eat ingredient. Peanut allergy is especially important to communicate. I have a severe peanut allergy. Servers will take this seriously and check with the kitchen.
And then paying, because in America especially, paying is different.
Yes, in America, the server brings you the check or bill, and you can pay at the table. They'll bring a card reader or take your card. If you want to split the bill, you can say, "Can we split the check?" Or "Can you put half on each card?"
And tipping, because this confuses so many people from Brazil.
Tipping is very important in the US. Unlike Brazil, where service is sometimes included, in America, the server's income depends heavily on tips. Standard tip is 18 to 20%. The bill usually has suggested tip amounts calculated for you. You can also just say, "Keep the change" if you're paying cash.
Okay, let's now talk about something really specific to this episode, studying abroad. Because a lot of people listening might be planning an exchange program or a language course.
This is such an important topic, and I think the academic environment has its own very specific English that people often aren't prepared for.
What do you mean by academic English?
I mean the language used in classrooms, with professors, in student services, on campus. It's different from street English and different from textbook English.
Give me an example.
Sure, your professor might say, "The assignment is due by midnight." Due by midnight means you need to submit it before midnight. Or, office hours are on Tuesdays from 2 to 4. Office hours are times when professors are available to meet with students.
Office hours. I didn't understand this concept for my first 2 weeks of exchange.
It's such an American thing. Professors set aside specific times when students can come to their office with questions. You can just walk in during those times. No appointment needed usually. Or you can email to schedule.
Other academic phrases?
The syllabus. That's the document that explains everything about the course. Due dates, grading, required readings. Prerequisites, classes you need to take before you can enroll in a certain course. Credit hours. The units used to measure how much a course counts toward your degree.
What about talking to professors? That was very intimidating for me.
For many international students, yes. The culture in American universities is generally more informal than in Brazil. You can usually address professors by their first name. Though check if they prefer professor last name. And you can ask questions during class, which feels strange if you're not used to it.
Very strange. In Brazil, we would never just raise our hand and ask a question mid-lecture.
In American classrooms, it's not only allowed, it's encouraged. And professors actually appreciate when students engage. If you don't understand something, you can say, "I'm sorry, could you go over that again?" Or, "Could you explain what you mean by term?"
What about talking to classmates? Because making friends in another language is its own challenge.
It really is. And I think this is where a lot of exchange students struggle the most. Not the classes, the social part.
Can we talk about this? Because I think it's really important.
Please, what was your experience?
So, when I studied abroad, the academic part was hard but manageable. But socializing in English, really socializing, not just small talk, felt impossible for a long time. Because everything takes longer. You can't be as funny in another language. You can't be as quick. By the time you've thought of something clever to say, the conversation has moved on.
This is such a real thing. And it's something native speakers almost never think about. In your own language, wit is effortless. In a second language, there's always a delay.
And people might see you as quiet or shy when actually you're just processing, translating, assembling sentences.
And I think the most important thing to understand is that delay gets smaller. It gets smaller with every conversation. Every interaction is training your brain to process faster.
So the solution is more conversations, not fewer.
Always, even uncomfortable ones, even awkward ones. Every single conversation builds the speed.
Okay, so let's give our listeners some practical strategies. Not just phrases, strategies for feeling more confident in English when traveling or studying abroad. Robert, what is strategy number 1?
Strategy 1. Prepare your 5 core sentences before every trip.
5 core sentences. What do you mean?
I mean, before you travel, write down and practice 5 sentences that you know you'll need. "I'm from Brazil, here for tourism. I'll be staying for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" Where is the nearest place? Can you write that down for me? These 5 sentences cover an enormous amount of ground.
And practicing them out loud before you go.
Out loud is essential. There's a huge difference between knowing a sentence in your head and being able to produce it under pressure. Your mouth needs practice too, not just your brain.
Strategy 2.
Strategy 2. Learn to love. I'm sorry. Could you say that again more slowly? This is the most powerful sentence in any traveler's toolkit,
I resisted saying this for so long because I felt embarrassed.
and it cost you. How much?
It cost me confusion, wrong orders, going to the wrong place, agreeing to things I didn't mean to agree to.
Exactly. The embarrassment of asking for repetition lasts about 2 seconds. The consequence of not asking can last much longer. There is no shame in this phrase. None.
Strategy 3.
Strategy 3. Use context clues aggressively. You don't need to understand every word to understand a situation.
Say more about this.
If you're at the airport and someone in a uniform points at your bag and says something you don't catch, they're probably asking you to do something with your bag. Open it, move it, put it on the scale. The context tells you so much.
So don't panic when you miss words. Look at the situation.
Exactly. Look at where you are, who's talking to you, what they're doing. The context fills in so many gaps.
Strategy 4.
Strategy 4. Carry a small notebook or use your phone notes app. If you're in a situation where verbal communication is failing, like trying to find an address, showing someone a written note or your phone screen often solves everything immediately.
Oh, I do this with my phone all the time. If I can't say something, I type it.
And most people respond by typing back, which gives you time to read and understand without the pressure of real-time listening.
Strategy 5.
Strategy 5. Immerse deliberately, not passively. This is especially for exchange students. It's very easy to find your group of Brazilian friends at university and speak Portuguese all day.
Which I absolutely did for the first month.
And it's understandable. It's comfortable. But it slows your progress enormously. The strategy is to set specific English-only times or situations. Every meal in the cafeteria, I will sit with people I don't know. Every week, I will attend one campus event alone.
Alone is key there, because when you go alone, you have to talk to people.
Exactly. Discomfort is the engine of progress. And strategy 6, celebrate every small win. Every.
This is so important and nobody talks about it.
When you successfully order a coffee, when you understand a joke, when you have a 10-minute conversation without switching to Google Translate, these are real victories. Acknowledge them.
Because the brain learns through positive reinforcement. If every English interaction feels like failure, you stop trying.
And if you notice every small success, your brain starts to associate English with capability, not fear.
Robert, I want to talk about something that I think is really specific to Brazilians and maybe other Latin cultures. We have this thing where we don't want to bother people. We don't want to be too demanding or too needy.
Tell me more.
So when I'm at a restaurant and the order comes wrong, my instinct, my Brazilian instinct, is to just eat it and not complain. Because complaining feels rude.
And in American culture?
In American culture, it's completely normal, even expected, to say something if your order is wrong.
Absolutely. In fact, in American restaurant culture, if your order is wrong and you don't say anything, the server often feels bad about it later when they find out. Saying something politely is actually the considerate thing to do.
How do you say it without feeling rude?
So politely. Excuse me, I think there might be a mix-up with my order. I ordered dish, but I received dish. That's it. No drama, no accusation. Just a calm, clear statement.
And they will fix it.
Almost always immediately. With an apology. American service culture is built around customer satisfaction.
This blew my mind when I first experienced it. I said, I think there's a mix-up, so nervously, and the server was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'll fix that right away. And I thought, that was it? It was that easy.
It really is that easy. And the same applies to hotels. If your room isn't ready, if something isn't working, if you need something, just ask. Politely and directly. That's the culture.
Okay, let's talk about something I know is a huge fear for many people: understanding different accents. Because English is not one accent.
Not at all. American English alone has enormous regional variation. New York sounds different from Texas, sounds different from California, sounds different from the Deep South.
And then British English, Australian English, Irish English, Scottish English.
All completely different. And when you've learned English from a textbook or a course, you've usually learned a fairly standard neutral accent. And then you arrive in Glasgow and you think, what language is this?
Ha! I had this experience with a Scottish professor. Very lovely man. I understood approximately 30% of what he said for the first 2 weeks.
And then?
And then gradually, it clicked. Week by week, I understood more. By the end of the semester, I was totally comfortable. But those first 2 weeks were humbling.
This is the accent adjustment period. Every traveler and exchange student goes through it. Your ear just needs time to calibrate to a new accent. It's not a language problem. It's a familiarity problem, and it always resolves.
What helps it resolve faster?
Exposure. As much as possible. Watch local TV, listen to local radio, have as many conversations as you can with people who have that accent. Your brain is doing incredible pattern recognition work in the background. Just give it input.
What about when you genuinely cannot understand someone, no matter how many times they repeat?
This happens, even to native speakers. A very thick regional accent, a lot of background noise, someone speaking very quietly. In this case, it's completely acceptable to say, I'm so sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. Would you be able to write that down? Or could you show me on your phone?
Nobody will be offended by that.
Nobody. Communication is a two-person job. Both people want to be understood. If one method isn't working, you find another.
Okay, I want to do something before we get to our final thoughts. I want to give our listeners a quick vocabulary tour, like we do every episode, of the most useful words and phrases from today.
Great idea. Let's go.
First, to declare. As in customs, do you have anything to declare?
To declare means to officially report something to authorities. In customs, it means reporting items that might be taxable or regulated. I have nothing to declare means you're not bringing in anything that needs to be reported.
Second, carry on. As in carry-on bag.
Your carry-on is the bag you bring onto the plane with you, as opposed to checked luggage, which goes under the plane. I only have a carry-on is a useful phrase at check-in.
Third, round trip.
A round-trip ticket means you're going somewhere and coming back. The opposite is one way. Just going, no return. I have a round-trip ticket is often useful at immigration.
Fourth, the bill versus the check.
Both mean the same thing in a restaurant context. What you owe for your meal. Check is more American. Bill is more British. Both are understood everywhere.
Fifth, complimentary.
Complimentary means free. If a hotel offers complimentary breakfast, it means breakfast is included at no extra charge. Is breakfast complimentary? Is a great question at hotel check-in.
Sixth, adjacent.
Adjacent means next to. An adjacent room means a room next to another room. Useful if you're traveling with family and want rooms near each other.
Seventh, itinerary.
Your itinerary is your travel plan. Where you're going, when, what you're doing. Here is my itinerary. You might show this at immigration to demonstrate your travel plans.
Eighth, orientation.
In the context of studying abroad, orientation is the introductory program for new students, usually the first few days of an exchange program. Orientation week is when you learn how the university works, meet other students, get your student ID. It's very important to attend.
I almost missed orientation because I didn't know what it meant. I thought it was optional.
Ha! It is never optional.
Never skip orientation, everyone. Ninth, prerequisites.
We mentioned this. Classes you need to complete before taking a certain course. Does this course have any prerequisites? Is a useful question when registering for classes.
And 10th, on campus versus off campus.
On campus means within the university grounds. Off campus means outside. Is the dorm on campus? Dorm is dormitory, student housing. Are there good restaurants off campus? Very useful distinction.
Wonderful. Okay, final thoughts time. Robert, One thing you want every listener to take away from today.
Just this: surviving in English when you travel or study abroad is not about speaking perfectly, it's about communicating effectively. And the tools for that are simpler than you think. Ask for repetition, use context, be willing to find another way. People around the world want to help you, they just need you to give them the chance.
I love that. My final thought is for anyone who is planning a trip or an exchange right now and feeling nervous. I want you to know that nervous feeling, it means you're about to grow. Every single uncomfortable English moment I have ever had has made me better. The immigration officer who spoke too fast, the professor I couldn't understand, the restaurant where I pointed at the menu because I couldn't say the word, all of it. Every single moment was a lesson. And you know what the best part is? You remember them. Those awkward, uncomfortable moments. You remember every single one. And then one day you find yourself on the other side, helping someone else navigate the same confusion. Because you know exactly how it feels. That's what this podcast is. Me on the other side reaching back, saying, you can do this. You really can. Okay, before we go, your challenge for this week. If you are planning a trip or an exchange, I want you to do this. Write down your 5 core sentences. The 5 things you know you'll need to say. Practice them out loud, not in your head out loud, until they feel automatic. And if you're not traveling anytime soon, find one situation this week to practice real-world English. Order something in English if you can. Watch a show without Portuguese subtitles. Leave a comment below in English telling us, where would you most like to travel or study abroad? And what is the one phrase you're most afraid of not understanding when you get there?
We read every single comment, and your answer might be exactly what another listener needs to hear today.
If this episode helped you, please hit the like button. It helps other people find us. And subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. We are just getting started and there is so much more to come. I'm Vivi.
And I'm Robert.
This is Speak with Vivi. Take care of yourselves and keep going, even when it's scary, especially when it's scary. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.